me clear.
What up, dudes and dudettes? It's your boy DVS1, aka Dev. So today we're gonna be talking about keybinds. I don't know if you're excited as I am, but Legion is fast approaching. We have less than 2 weeks and Legion will be here. If you're anything like me, I'm excited to raid. I'm excited for the new PvP system. I want to maximize everything that I'm doing, whether I'm healing, whether I'm tanking, whether I'm DPSing. I want to maximize that personally, and I'm sure you do as well. So I'm here to help you with that. We're going to jump into keybinds, how I keybind, what I use, what I found that works best for me, what my setup is, what add-ons I use, and most importantly, what type of mouse I use, which ties into the second most important thing, and that's unbinding WNS from movement keys. That's what I said. Unbinding WNS from movement keys is a lot more fluid when you use the mouse. I'll get into it. I'll show you how. Don't freak out too bad. I know I did when I was approached with doing so, but it makes moving so much more fluid, so much faster. Your responses are faster, not only for DPSing, healing, or tanking whatever you're doing, but for moving out of the way of bad. And nobody wants to be standing in bad or getting hit by bad in a raid or PvP and get called a bad. So let's jump into it, folks, and figure out what's going on here. All right, let's get started. All right, Sleepwalkers, first things first, mouse choice. It's huge. This here is key to doing higher DPS, better healing, and being a better tank. Being overall better in World of Warcraft. Reason being is, folks, we have 6 bindable buttons here on the Razer Naga. That's my mouse of choice. 2 on top, as well as be able to click the scroll wheel. There are definitely other gaming mice out there. I do know Logitech makes a nice one, but it's key that it has 6 or more buttons. That's going to help you in the long run. Can you do it with, say, a mouse with 2 buttons on the side? Sure. Is it going to be as effective? Probably not. So, folks, first step is to go to a company, let's say newegg.com, or stop into a Best Buy. Grab yourself a nice gaming mouse. This Razer Naga I think I picked up for 80 bucks. You may be able to find one cheaper now. I don't know. I haven't been in the market for quite some time. But this helped up my game. All right. Now that we have a good mouse choice, we're going to get into add-ons and keybinds specifically. So let's jump into, first of all, what add-on I use. I use Bartender. It's super simple add-on you can get from curse.com and add to your WoW add-ons. The reason I use it is just super simple to use. I can click on Bartender. It brings up customizable keys, and I can move those around. If you have a pet, this bar, microweb, you can just move those anywhere you want to and lock them in place and snap it together like so. Also, as far as the actual keybind is concerned, you just type /bartender. It brings up this menu where you can customize the bars. We're not going to get in specifically to that, but we are going to get into the keybinds. You click keybinds, and here it is. You hover over the key, hit escape to clear it, or to bind it, hit whatever key, just hover and hit whatever key that you'd like to bind, and then hit OK. Super simple. A lot of other people use like Elv UI. I've heard that's wonderful. I haven't messed with that in years, but those are some other ones available to you. Now, let's talk about how I have my setup. Okay, so I have QWERSF. I'll get into why in a minute. Then I have on the second line 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I'll touch base on that in a second. And G. Then I have my modifiers. I have Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3, Shift 4, Shift 6, and Shift 5. Again, I'll get into why I don't have 5 up here. But as you can see, these are basically my mouse keys here. They're on the side, as we went over earlier, on the side of the Naga. And up top, I have my keyboard keys. Again, I've unbound W and S. Highly important to the setup that I run, and as you'll discover, it will make it a lot easier for you to DPS as well as move. The movement in it, believe it or not, is 100% better for survivability. You have more control over your character. Control over your character. This is why I don't have 5 bound, guys. My 5 key is on my Naga. It's right here. And that 5 key I have bound to auto run. So I can click it while moving around. And I don't have to use the keyboard in any way to auto run. It's just faster for me. So that, folks, is why 5's a little bit different. But it's all preference. This is just my setup. So on the bottom here, I'll have Shift Q, Shift W, Shift E, Shift R, Shift S, and I guess I don't have that one bound right now. At any rate, I might put like Shift F there or whatever. These are all customizable. You don't have to have something exact. I'm just showing you what works for me and attempting to explain to you why. So the other 2 important keys that I have bound are over here on this bar. But they're the summon random favorite mount and Traveler's Tundra mount. That way I can just click whatever mount I want on the top here, and I have them bound on the top 2 buttons that I showed you earlier. And that works like so. If I'm farming old content, of course I want the Traveler's Tundra so that I can go in there and sell stuff. Won't have full bags all the time. As you can see, I always have full bags. Anyways, let's get into how this is going to look and how this is going to work. As I said before, W and S are not bound. They're bound to spells now and not movement keys. I still do use A and D to strafe and to move from side to side. Okay, highly important. Strafing is very good if you're tanking and you don't want to be hit as hard. Strafing sometimes helps absorb some of that, and melee DPS as well as ranged. You can move out of the way of stuff a lot quicker. Now, as I'm moving here, you can see I'm using these 2 mouse buttons and my A and D, and I can spin the mouse and go wherever I need to go. As well as I'm moving, I can click spells. So let's say I want to roll into this battle and start fighting. As you can see, I have a shift modifier in 2, which is up here on my mouse. The 2 is, and I'm going to use shift on my keyboard. I'm going to roll into battle here and get started. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to move out of the way, so I'm going to go over here and roll out again. I can do so. Look how fast this movement is, guys. Okay, I don't have to think about it. I know where all my keybinds are because I've gotten used to it. I can, a lot of my cooldowns are up top. Q, W, E is heal on this character. A lot of times I'll have that as some sort of defensive cooldown. And then R I always have as my interrupt, so I always know where my interrupt is at. So that's how I have it set up. One, again, here are my combat keys, and I can just go through it. I can dance around. I can hit G and move really fast. That's a lot of times on most, I'd say 99% of my characters. My movement keys, like boost of speed and things like that, are G and F. So, as you can see, guys, highly highly mobile with moving with the 2 mouse buttons instead of W and S, and I can cast while moving. Let's say this is the boss here, this training W, and he's trying to move over here. See, I can strafe and hit my 1 key. I can hold both my mouse keys and move with the boss while casting, staying in my rotation, and doing a lot more DPS than I would be if I was trying to move with my W and S keys and stay with the boss and not being able to cast. So that's, in a nutshell, what my setup is, guys. Alright guys, just to kind of wrap things up and summarize, we went over in essence keybinds, right? But we touched base on a couple things. We touched base on add-ons such as Bartender that I use, or LVUI. We touched base on gaming mice and how important that is and what a role that it plays in you doing higher DPS, higher healing, tanking, whatever it is you're doing in the World of Warcraft. So those 2 things. We also touched base on that is highly key, and it will take some getting used to, but unbinding W and S from movement keys and using those as spells. Highly important, guys. You'll get used to it, I promise. When I was first told about it, it was foreign. I was like, I don't want to do this. This isn't. This doesn't feel comfortable. But like I said, it's huge. It works. It upped my DPS 100%. I started actually performing when I did so. So, like I said, those are some key things that I would suggest. Thank you for tuning in to me. We also, of course, went over what keys I use to bind and why. I kind of demonstrated how the movement is a lot more fluid. You can make changes on the fly, but still keep casting. Still stay in your rotation. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 100 subscriptions so that I can customize the URL, so it's not some generic URL, and ties in to Sleepwalkers Gaming. So please subscribe, upvote it if you like it. If you don't like it, downvote it, and give me a comment. Give me some constructive feedback. This has been a vision of mine since around 2012 for Sleepwalkers Gaming. And I'm happy to announce that the website is almost finished. We will be offering merchandise. We'll be offering promotion ideas for other streamers, merchandise for gamers, as well as I've explained my vision before, but that 10% of all donations and proceeds to Sleepwalkers Gaming and Sleepwalkers.tv will go to combat sexual trafficking, which is horrendous. I hate it. And it will also go to ministries that help rehabilitate people that have been victims. I can't announce which ones yet because I'm still working out the details of that, but those are things that are coming soon, guys. Again, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, our twitch.tv/sleepwalkerscrew. Watch some streams, and again, thank you guys for tuning in. And just to remind you, keep it gangster or get wrecked.
Me.